If you've never made an AI video before, this is where I would start. This is Higgsfield. It doesn't matter if you're a small business owner, you're a creator, or you just want to start experimenting with AI video. This tool is the right one to start with. Go down in the description, you'll find a link to it. What I want to talk to you about today is the video feature, but I'm also going to briefly show you the images, because what you can do with this tool is take images you already have, or you can use any one of the tools here that they have to create your AI image as a starting image. So we're going to do that today. We're going to start with Nano Banana Pro. And then what we're going to do is take the images that we create and move them over into the different video tools that this has. Now, I want to make this guide as simple as possible for you. So we're not going to get into complicated prompts. We're not going to make things difficult. You can see actually some of our prompts can just be a few words and we'll get amazing videos produced. You can see here I've got an iPhone here that is an exploded view. You can do some very, very cool stuff with this tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here, and this is where we put our prompt. Okay, so this is a prompt that I asked ChatGPT to write for me. I basically said I want a prompt that has X, and this is what it's given for me. I'm going to actually take out the soft background because that's not going to help with what we're going to do later with the video. But you can see we're going to have a fashionable 25-year-old adult sitting. Let's go for woman. Sitting casually in a modern US city centre. She's stylishly dressed, natural confident pose, cinematic lighting, shallow depth of field, realistic skin tones, urban background. Now, you can change the models that you want if you are making an AI image. So we've got all of these available to you, and you can just test these out as you go. But like I said, we're going to stick with Nano Banana to start with, and I've got the Pro version. You can also change your orientation as well. So I'm doing vertical video for the channel you're watching on at the moment. So we're going to stick with a 9:16. If you wanted a video like the one you're watching, the orientation that you're currently watching, you'd go 16:9. If you want a square video that you're using on social media, you'd go 1:1. 4:5, that's if you are doing a reel or a post, I should say, on Instagram where you want to fill up the whole screen. So just do some research on what platform you're going to be posting on, and you'll be able to figure out what is the best dimension for you. You can change your batch size. So this is going to change how many images I get. So you can see I'm normally producing 2 at a time, and then I pick the one that I like. And we've got these other features as well, but we're not going to get into those today. So all I'm going to do is hit generate, and now Nano Banana Pro is going to go ahead and it's going to create these images for me. So if you want to create images and you want to create videos, then Higgsfield is great because you can do both of those things within one tool. You're not swapping to different places in order to create them. Okay, so here we are. We have these 2 images that have been produced. Again, you can make the prompt more detailed. If there's something specific, like you want them to be wearing a certain thing, you see they're holding the coffee cup here, then you can just play around with the prompt and give it as much detail as you want. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to download this. That way I've got it saved on my hard drive, which is going to mean sometimes it's easier for me to use in the video tools. It also means I've got a copy as well, so I'd always recommend doing that. So let's just quickly download both of them. And there we go, we've got both of them done. What we can also do is we can reuse, regenerate. If you're organized, you can add them to folders. And you can do, as you can see, lots and lots of other things as well. If you've got a workspace created, you can move them over. But what we're going to do is we're going to use these images as the base to our videos. I'm going to show you some of the different styles of videos that you can produce inside Higgsfield. So we're going to go over to the video tab. When we click on this, you can see all of the different types of models that you get access to, as well as the types of videos that you can create. So you can turn product URLs into video ads. So if you wanted to sell video ads to Amazon, people that sell on Amazon or eBay stores or Shopify stores, you could use this one. We've got draw to video, we've got Link Sync Studio, UGC Factory, we've got loads and loads of different things we can do with this. If you're the kind of person that wants to sort of have product videos where models are dressed up in the clothing that a company wants to sell, you can do all of that. What we're going to focus on is more the kind of videos you can produce, sort of cinematic and very, very cool effects. The kind of thing that grabs attention on social media and has that potential to go viral. Okay, so we will come to Cinema Studio Video in a second because it's got some really, really cool stuff. But what I'm going to do is we're going to go into one of these. Now, it doesn't really matter which one you go into because you can move between them. So I'm going to start with the Higgsfield model. Now, if you're going to try and use your credits as conservatively as possible, then this is where I would start, especially if you are experimenting. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a video and then we're going to try out some of these different sort of styles and video clips and effects. So let's add our first image, which is the one we just created. Okay, so there's our image added as our start frame. Now you can have an end frame optional. So if you remember a couple of minutes ago in the video, I showed you that exploded view of the iPhone. You could have here the start frame, the original image of the iPhone completely closed. The end frame could be that opened up iPhone, and then your effect would transition between the two. I've used them as well, sort of where you've got somebody sitting down like this, and then you might have them sort of jumping in the air or doing something like that you want to be the end frame. And then what the tool's going to do is it's going to create a video to fill in the gaps. Now, if you know what you want, you're really clear on what you want, then you can describe it straight into prompt here and it will create it for you. However, what you can do is come up to this change button, and then what you're able to see is within Higgsfield, you can see all the different effects that they've got down here. So we've got this original photo and we could apply any of these and you can see them in action. And all we would have to do is click on one and then we would be able to see it in action. Now, before I click on one of these and I show it to you, what we can do as well is we can click through, okay, and we can see all of these different ones. But like I said, we can also go through with the different models as well. So we've got Kling 2.5 here. We can see the new models that they've got. We can see ones that have sort of start end. So that's really good for start and end frame. Then we can go to Kling 2.6. Again, we can see what they've got, what's new, and so on. So we can just go through all of the different models and see what they've got going on. You can use any of these, or if you want to, you can just, as I said, describe your own prompt. So let's go in here, let's have a little bit of fun. We're going to go to the animalization one. This is going to turn our person into an animal. Okay, so let's turn them into an animal. Let's go for a polar bear, because that's really out of place in the city centre. So she turns into a polar bear. I'm not going to go any more complicated than that, because like I said, this is a beginner's video. I don't want to overcomplicate things. As you start to use these tools more, you will learn better prompts. And if you wanted some help with prompting, I do have a really cool guide. Just comment guide and I can send that over to you. Okay, we're going to have some audio as well, just because that always makes the video more engaging. If you take the audio off, you see you can save some credits and you can put your own audio on. And then all we have to do is hit generate. It's going to go ahead and make the video for us. So here we are. The video has now been created and I'm just going to hit play and we'll see what happens. And there you go. It turns into the polar bear. Just like that, we have our effect. And all we needed was this really, really simple prompt in order to get it going. So all I can do now is I can download it. And then I've got all of these options again, if I want to. Or I can just change the prompt and get it to turn into something else. But let's have a look at another effect, first of all. And we'll go back to thinking about our video options. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the video options, but this time we're going to change the idea, the concept slightly, because you can do some really, really cool things when it comes to people. But what I want to talk about very quickly is products. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to upload a product image for a completely fictional lager brand that I came up with as a test case for using to show how you can make product videos with this kind of tool. So if you saw my previous video, you'll remember me talking about Grand Rapid Illusions, and we made an entire AI ad in order to promote this brand. Well, if I wanted to create just small clips for my brand, I could do that with Higgsfield. So I can go into any one of these models, then go down into the different actions that they have, and then I'm able to pick exactly what I want to happen to my drinks can. So let's scroll down. Quite like this melting effect. We could try that one. We could try duplicate. So we could have lots and lots of different bottles, or cans I should say. Let's go for this one, 3D rotation. So we click the model and we do rotate around the can. That's all I'm going to do. Hit generate. Now, because we're using Higgsfield Ai, we don't get any audio with this one. I'm just going to click and we'll see what happens. Okay, and here is the can, and there it is with the 3D rotation effect. I actually quite like this because it does something different halfway through, which kind of gives that illusion, which is totally on brand for this fictional brand that I've made up. So very, very cool stuff that you can do. Now let's talk about Cinema Studio, because I do want to quickly show you this one, because as a beginner, all of that might feel a little bit intimidating. So what we can do is we can do everything within Cinema Studio. So I took this image here that I made inside Higgsfield, again with Nano Banana Pro, and then I've made her jump as well. So what we can do is we can give the AI inside Higgsfield an image, and then we can say how we want it to be changed. And the cool thing about this is we can change the type of camera that we're using. So we can just scroll up and down and get different cameras. We can change the lenses as well. So we get complete control over what we're doing. We can change the focal length and we can change the aperture as well. So what I can do is I can take this image and I, as my base image, change all of those, and then I can hit generate and it's going to produce another image for me. But I have that additional control that I had within these settings here to be able to change the lens and the camera, and then I get a different type of image. What I can also do is I can take all of these images that I create and I can then convert them into a very, very simple video, all within the Cinema Studio. So in order to do that, I'm just going to go over to video. What I'll do is we'll have that as my start frame. We'll have the end frame. We're going to do image generation. So these are all images that I've created. That should be the one that I just created of her jumping. So we'll just do woman jumps into the air. I've got my start, got my final, and then we can have movements as well. If I just have one image, let's do that one there. We're going to drag this over to start frame. Then I get the movement options, and then I can just change, and I can just pick any one of these at all. And again, look, if I hover over them, you can see what happens. So let's not go for the one where she's in the air, because that's going to not look very realistic. Let's go back to Our Lady, actually, that we had drinking her coffee. Let's go for the other one. Here she is. Go over to movements, and then we can have anything that we like happening. So let's go for the drone shot. Again, I want 9:16, duration 5. It's going to give me some audio. Hit generate, and then it's going to give me that simple drone shot. I left on woman jumps in the air, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so here we have her jumping up in the air, flies around. This would be really cool for like an action movie or something. I think this looks like a really, really interesting effect. Let's see what we can do going back, and we'll take off jumps in the air off. We'll stick with the drone shot, and we'll just go tilt up towards generate, and we'll see what happens with that one. And here we go. If I click on this, we can now see moving up, going towards the sun. Really simple, really easy. And I can just go in and I can recreate again. I can copy the prompt. I can tweak things. I can change this and go for another movement. Everything I can change. Now I want to show you one last thing, which is mixed media, because this is brand new and I think it's really, really exciting. So if we go into all the presets here, again, this is very, very simple to do. You take your image. So here I've got, again, this video was created, 100% with AI. Woman on a bike, flames coming out of the tires, and we can put this onto any one of these effects. And this will turn it into quite a cool, eye-catching video for us that we could use for all sorts of things on social media, anything at all that we think we could use it for. So what I can do as well, what I really like about this, is if we pick this one here and we want multiverse, what I can actually do is, it's quite expensive, so what I can do is actually run a preview. So we can see this is what the preview looks like. I've just hit this button here, turn to a video, and it does exactly that for me. I also tested out particles. So the particles model, this is what it gave me as the preview, and then this is what it gave me here as the final video. So pretty cool stuff. And then we can just see what this looks like in a second. And here we go. There's your multiverse effect within the mixed media feature. So simple prompts, powerful tool, definitely something that I recommend you check out in 2026. Link in the description. And if you're still watching, I'd appreciate the subscribe on my newsletter. See you in the next one.